Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today we're going to look up different kind of lookups in Excel. So there are three kinds of lookups. Yeah, number one is VLOOKUP. Number two is XLOOKUP. Number three is HLOOKUP. Yeah. So we look at how these are used in different scenarios within Excel. I'll show it to you guys with a real example. I hope that would give you a good understanding of where to use different lookups when you're doing some kind of data analysis within Excel. So now let's get started. So let's start with VLOOKUP. Okay, to start with VLOOKUP, the syntax is equal to VLOOKUP of what is that you want to look up, the lookup value. The lookup value is I want to look up, let's say the classification description is what I'm looking for. So I'm going to look up the classification, that is 1. Yeah, I'm going to look this up from a table array of here, this table. Yeah. So I have to freeze this. That is, if you give a $sign before the column name or the row number, then that would be frozen. Okay, this range is frozen now. So anytime you use this range, this will always be static. Yeah. So if you're going to drag it, this will be very useful. Yeah. Then you have to say the column index. So you can see when you're looking up classification, the second column has the description. So the index for the column index where you're going to look up is second, number 2. Yeah. And whether you want to do an exact match or an approximate match. I want to do an exact match. So I'm going to give it a 0. So this would look up this whole value. Yeah. So it has got that premium here. So now if you want to find for all the brands, what is the classification? You just have to drag it. So as I said, I said this dollar is important. Let's say if I don't have the dollar, see what happens. Yeah. See, it is coming as not applicable because this range is moved. You can see, right? Okay, it is moved. Okay, when you're dragging. So it is always better to freeze the range you're selecting. So this is how you do VLOOKUP. There is one thing you have to look into is, so right now the data set what I have is pretty clean. It's always better to trim the lookup values. So like if there are any leading blanks or lagging blanks. Like for example, when I just do this. Okay, so okay, so this is not working. Yeah. So basically what you have to do is you have to make sure you do trim it. Yeah. So let's say trim of this text. Yeah. So you have to trim here and also you have to trim here in the classification. Yeah. So that, okay, the lookup value is has a perfect match between each of them. Yeah. So that is VLOOKUP. So now coming back to XLOOKUP, what is it is, let's say in XLOOKUP, let's say you have, let's say I have few other columns. Yeah. Let's say, classification type. Yeah. As an example. Yeah. C12, C13. Okay. So in this, let's say if this classification is here, but I want the classification description. So now if I use VLOOKUP, it doesn't work. Why? Because if I have to do a VLOOKUP, so one of the important criteria is your lookup value has to be left of what is the value you need. So basically this value has to be left to this column. So right now this won't work. So if I do this and I say, I cannot do -2, right? Okay, if I say -2, doesn't work. Yeah. It says not applicable. So this kind of scenario, use XLOOKUP. So what you do is XLOOKUP of what you're going to look up. The lookup value is 1. You're going to look up array. Okay. You're going to look up this value. That is this one. I'm going to freeze it. And it's asking for return array. What is the return value? Yeah. So this value is what I wanted to be returned. So I freeze that again. So if it is not found, what is the default value you want to give? I'll say not found. Yeah. what is the match mode? I want to do an exact match. And finally, what is search mode? I'll give it as one first to last. Yeah, so now it has looked up. So now if I do the dragging, okay, it perfectly works. So this is very useful if you have a large data set, okay, and if the data is not arranged in the right way. Whichever column it is, you can easily look up, the values if you have a key to match, the two data set. So that is what is XLOOKUP, very useful function. And now let's look at HLOOKUP. Yeah, HLOOKUP means horizontal lookup. So here, let's say you have a data set like this. You have different brands, and you have the price for each of the brand from different countries, and it's just given here. Now you want to bring these values to this table. Yeah. So how will I do that? Okay, I cannot use VLOOKUP because say here it is a column. Okay, the brand. Here it is a row. In first row, only different column has this brand name. Okay, but here all of them are in different rows in one column. So that's this kind of scenario. You have to use HLOOKUP. So what you have to do is you say the syntax is HLOOKUP of what is the lookup value. You want to look up this value. Then you give the delimiter. Then I'm going to look it up from this table array. So I'm going to freeze this table array. And what is the row index? So if you see price USA is the fourth row. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I give it as 4. Then I want to do an exact match again. Yeah. So I give it as 0. Yeah. So you can see this has come. So now if I drag it, okay, it would come for all the different brands. But only challenge now is if I drag it to this won't work. Why? Because first of all, here I'm looking up the value I3, but now when I go here, if I drag it, okay, it is moving to J3. So I always want the I to be constant. Only the 3, 4, 5 that has to change. So what I have to do is, okay, I have to put a $sign before I, so that it always stays. Now if I drag, it works. Yeah. Now if I drag this way, it works. But now it's giving the same value. Why? Because I'm giving the index, like the fourth is the price for USA. But now if I drag, okay, it is again taking as 4 because I put it as a constant value here. So instead of that, I can put what is USA. So USA means fourth row, India means third row, UK means the second row. So now instead of giving 4, I will take this value. But I want the number 1 row to be static. Yeah. So I'll give a $sign before that. So now if I drag, perfectly works. Now if I drag, this also perfectly works. You can see for India, 1000 INR, 2100 INR, 2000 INR, everything is there. And this is how you use HLOOKUP. I think all these 3 functions are very useful when you're doing some kind of data analysis within Excel. This is the concept. Okay, so you can use this in different scenarios. Few things you have to keep in mind is whenever you're looking up, always the lookup value has to be trimmed. If it is not clean, okay, if you trim it, it's perfect. So the main thing you have to look for is between 2 tables, what is the key that is in common. Like here, if you see the brand number is common, 1, 2, 3, 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4. So based on that common key, you can look it up. Or you have to make that common key. So which you can call it as a join key or a primary key, in whichever way you want to call it. Yeah. So that's how the lookup works in Excel. I hope this would have given you good understanding of the lookups. If you like this kind of video, please go ahead and subscribe. I'll try and post more videos. And if you have any comments, feel free to leave it in the comment section below. I'll try and answer them if there's any doubts or anything. Yeah, thanks a lot for listening. Okay, I'll come up with another video very soon. Yeah, till then, take care, guys. Bye.